This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
You're welcome into the conversations this morning on Now Breakfast. We start off with Abuja, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed a new minimum wage bill into law. The bill proposes the sum of 70,000 naira as the new national minimum wage and is binding on both the federal government and the organized private sector. However, questions remain over the implementation of the new wage, and we'll be joined by political analyst Jide Ojo on the conversation this morning. Mr. Ojo, good morning and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning. Good morning, Stacey.
To start off with, what is your reaction to the president's signing of the new national wage bill into law?
It's a welcome development. It's a long time in coming. You remember the last wage, minimum wage expired in April 2024. So this is July ending, and it's not for the preemptive and proactive action of the president. Maybe we'll have had a more complicated national protest on our hands by now if the Nigerian labor unions were to join the fray of the youth who are hell-bent on going on protest from Thursday. So it's a welcome development. It's heartwarming news. I'm sure all the federal workers are going to be in jubilant mode. But it's just not here to Uru, because just last week I had the Bauchi State Governor, that's Senator Bola, saying that it cannot pay minimum wage of 70,000. Likewise, his brother governors, many of them cannot pay. And that is where the sticky part of it will be. Because we know Zamfara, for instance, just started implementing the 30,000 minimum wage early this year. So, and that's something that ran for 5 years. It's just this some months back that Zamfara State, for instance, started to pay the 30,000 minimum wage. And that's the subnational. So, and you have more staff at the subnational level, combined the 36 states, 768 local governments and 6 area councils. That will give you a fair idea of how many more people will be impacted. Peradventure, if the subnationals cannot pay this minimum wage, it then means that there will be trouble ahead, because many states will be locked down by the labor unions for inability to pay. There's also the aspect of the organized private sector. I recall that the president was saying that he will assist the subnational and the organized private sector to pay. But I don't understand how he intends to do that. Is he going to give them waiver? Is he going to give them some grants to enable them pay? These are private businesses. I don't know how government intends to do that, if at all he intends to do it. But when we speak with the subnational, how much can the federal government give as bailout to the state that will enable them to pay without letter? The argument of many of the governors is this: they are not elected to cater for less than 10% of the population, which are the civil servants. The 90% market men and women, ordinary citizens, the artisans, who are not government employees, they also deserve some measure of social amenities. So,
right. So Mr. Ojo, I do apologize for interrupting you, but you have made reference to Zamfara State specifically, as well as some other states which have said they will not be able to pay the new national minimum wage. I wonder if this is a problem that you see emanating just from the north, or do you think there are other states within the federation that will struggle to pay the new national minimum wage?
All the states are likely going to struggle. Let me give you the experience I have. The states, in many of the states, there are too many ghost workers. Too many ghost workers that are on the nominal role. They do not come to work. They just have their names, and this is even worse at the local government level.
Right.
They just loaded them on the system. So when you have an humongous wage bill, don't forget this is more than double of the last national minimum wage. So the point is, the subnational governments are not even saying that they are not having enough to pay. What they are saying, the point they are making, that they are not elected to cater to only a fraction of the citizens, that they also will need to fix the infrastructure in their respective states. So if they have to do that, their wage bill obviously will more than double, arising from this 70,000 minimum wage. If that means that they may not be able to fix the infrastructure within their states, and that means they will be unpopular with majority of the citizens in the state. So that is where the challenge lies. But let's see how federal government will come to. I mean, we know that under the Buhari administration, if you recall, Steve, the first thing that the governors presented to Buhari in 2015 when he assumed office was the need for him to give them bailouts to enable them pay the minimum wage as of that time. And the federal government did give them the bailout. But as I speak with you, I'm not sure any of the states who collected the bailout funds has been able to pay back. So it then means that if there is another round of bailout from federal government to this state, they will just convert it to grants. They will most likely not pay back. And the irony of it is that they might even divert this money even when there is a bailout from federal government. So there is a need for monitoring, proper oversight and monitoring of whatever intervention the federal government is going to be doing for the state.
So that it's definitely something that is worrisome when you look at it. But as we wrap this conversation this morning, I do want to inquire. The private sector, the federal government had, I reckon similar positions as far as minimum wage is concerned. They were saying 62,000. The figure that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed is 8,000 naira higher than that. Do you see problems emanating from the organized private sector? Do you think that they will be able to cope with the new national minimum wage?
Well, you see, the organized private sector is more diluted. Why I say it's more diluted is that many organized private sector that are even paying more than the national minimum wage as we speak. I know in the NGO sector, many of the staff of non-governmental organizations get more than the national minimum wage. Likewise, factories, industries, financial institutions, we get. But there are a section of that organized private sector that may find it extremely difficult to pay. And that is where the tricky aspect is. Don't forget that there is a glut, there is a high rate of unemployment in Nigeria.
Right.
Look at many of the foreign factories, like the ones owned by Indians, Koreans, Lebanese. Many of them don't even bother about minimum wage. What they do is pure casualization. They won't even give you contracts of employment. All they do is they hire and fire at random. So what the new minimum wage will do to a section of the organized private sector is it will increase arbitrariness in terms of casualization of staff, particularly for some section of them who runs factories or skilled areas of the organized private sector where you don't need specialized skills. Like even banks now are heavily casualized. Most of the tellers you see in the banks are recruited by agencies. The bank just pay the agencies to pay those people. So they are not even offered any contract. They're entitled to pension, no gratuity, no health benefit, no transport, no allowances of any sort.
Right.
And that's what you are likely going to see in ascendancy in the organized private sector, I mean, a section of it that may find it difficult to pay, they will just simply engage in casualization of staff.
Well, it's definitely something to look out for, Mr. Ojo. Thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Mr. Jide Ojo is a political analyst, and he joined us this morning to speak on the signing of a new national minimum wage. It is 70,000 naira, as the president has signed it into law. We ask that you stay tuned. The conversations continue this morning on Now Breakfast, right here on your Beyond the News station.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.